Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Thanks for joining me today and welcome to my sewing lair. Today I want to talk to you about my quilt top, which is for my son, and it's a Lemoyne Star quilt. Each one of these blocks is a Lemoyne Star, although you may not recognize it as such. I think that this quilt demonstrates the enormous variability and creativity that you can have using color values and color placement to create very unique blocks. And some of these blocks are the same. And in fact, you can see from the mistake that I made in laying this out that I put this block and I can't see through my viewfinder the one that's at the bottom. So I'm going to point to the wrong thing, obviously. This block, and then hopefully I got it. The other block on the last row that you can see. I put them all together and I didn't do that consciously. And so takeaway number one from this video is that if you look at your quilt through a viewfinder, when it's on the wall before you sew it together, it's probably easier to see placement issues than when you're looking at something larger. When I looked at it through the viewfinder, boom, it just hit me. Frankly, looking at my design wall, it didn't jump out at me for whatever reason. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is, in order to do this video, I had to slide my design wall over probably about 5 feet. When it's to the left, there's too much in the way, my sewing table and other accoutrements that block the view. And I'm able to do this because I have a piece of angle iron, and I'm gonna get a close-up of it now. My design board sits in a metal rack, and it's the 1-inch foam cord board, and it sits right on this rack that I can move. I just, lean it up against the wall, and because it's a 1-inch foam core insulation, it's sturdy. Can you do it with a 1/2-inch thick board? I don't know if you can or not. I've not tested it, but I did want to alert you that if you want a design board, if you get a piece of angle iron, you can set it in there, and then you can set it against a wall, and then you can move it. And if you have a small design board, mine's large. Mine's basically 8 by 8, and I'm grateful that I have a lot of wall space. I'm sewing in a bonus room over a garage, and I have 2 windows. I'm covering up one of them, and Esteban is actually behind there in his bed. I've got a futon. It's a wonderful little reading nook. And I had to move my design board so he could get behind there and lay down. He likes to come up when my husband's away. He likes to come up and be with me. But the point is that it's a consideration for you, and I wanted to share that. The third takeaway is this is not a perfect quilt by any stretch of the imagination. I have, let's see, I've just completed my 2nd year of quilting, so I'm not a quilting master, but, and I realize I probably have an eclectic approach to quilting. It's pretty organic because I'm basically, taught myself how to quilt through YouTube and other things. But what I want to share with you is this was an ambitious project for me. These are traditionally pieced Lemoyne Stars, and this project allowed me to do the following. Number one, it allowed me to basically become I would say almost an expert in piecing Lemoyne Stars the traditional way. I do have Deb's wonderful rapid fire, but I wanted fewer seams, and I made myself learn this technique to include trying many techniques and understanding the pros and cons of them. So I am happy that I undertook that. The second thing that I learned, or it was reinforced because I've always known this, not every block when you're amplifying your skills, increasing your quilting skill set, do not be concerned that every block is not perfect. Your goal is to do the work, to get the seat and machine time of working with fabric and learning techniques, developing the muscle memory, developing the tactile way of handling fabric when you're making complicated blocks, and training your mind, your eye, and your fingers to do the work without thinking. And it takes hours of practice to do that. And do not be deterred that your initial blocks might look funky. Now, I did have to throw away, not on this project, but when I was first undertaking Lemoyne Star work, I had to throw away some blocks because they were so misshapen and I had done such a poor job on whatever. I just couldn't do anything with them. And those frustrations are what are the fuel of getting you to make what's the word that I want to say? Just, make the commitment to move ahead and know that if you're failing, you might fail better on the next one, fail better on the next one, till you truly become, quite good at it. Are all my points perfect? No. Did I lose some points in my star? Yeah, but not very many. And in fact, I was watching a video by someone, and I'm not bashing any creator, but I was watching a video of a person that was, talking about Lemoyne stars and that, you never want to lose your points. And she was using the rapid fire ruler. But, the example that she had on her wall, she had clearly lost some of her points in her star. So I've lost some points, you'll lose some points, and maybe after 10 years of doing these things, you will never ever lose a point. But I didn't lose very many. And there are a few things that I learned from this, and I shared with you in other videos, and that's simply that in some places you need a scant 1/4 inch, and I needed a scant 1/4 inch to do each of these interblock piecing, for these single diamonds that are compound diamonds, where there's 2 strips of diamonds that I'm putting together. I needed a scant 1/4 inch. After that, I needed to sew with a full 1/4 inch, because you need a full 1/4 inch so that you can maintain the points on your star. And if you have a scant there, you're going to end up with a skinny. You're not going to end up with enough. When you trim your block down, your block size will be fine, but you're not going to get the full 1/4 inch. So just, keep that in mind. And I knew that, but I didn't check my machine setting when I set about to do that. And what else did I learn by doing this? Well, it was an organic process. I had originally were going to set. It was just going to be these blocks, the light blocks and the dark blocks set on point. And I was going to just sew those all up together. But I elected, and this is, I think, the third point that I want to leave you with, I elected to still set them on point, which I think is beautiful. But I went ahead and did that using the square and square technique. And this is easy to do if you're doing something like this, a very complex block, and you want to gain 40% more space. You want that block to take up 40% more space. Set it on point because these corner pieces are 1.41 greater than your middle piece. And then, of course, you have to add seam allowance for that. But that gets your block to have a bigger footprint. And when you're working with something that's so time consuming as this, that really does help you get more bang for your buck, because it's really super easy to add those corners. And these are half square triangles that we're putting on our block here. The other thing that it does is it frames the complex blocks that you've done. And it really provides a beautiful background for them. I found that when they were all up on the wall, they just felt like they were disconnected. And this connected them very, very nicely. And if you were, super smart and super great at visualizing these things, you could do, all manner of, changing out what you want your squares to be so that you could highlight, particular things. I'm not there. That was not in my skill set to do, and I'm fine with that. And that's what I want to impress upon you today, is to stretch your skill set and do something like this. I'm just really happy with this quilt, but I learned from it and wanted to share those things with you. So anyway, thanks for allowing me to present this quilt top to you. And I hope that you're working on something that gives you pleasure and joy and gives you an opportunity to expand your skills and make someone happy who's going to be a really appreciative recipient of your hard work and your creativity and the love of what you're doing. I'll see you soon.